That's a call to action, guys.
Yeah, totally. There's an interesting theory about love that suggests that we all have love stories, and that I thought it was interesting how the caller said he sort of finds himself in the same patterns in relationships.
Right.
So it would be nice probably to be able to evaluate our partners on a number of dimensions before we put in a lot of time in a relationship. But I think it also is worth suggesting that you should also think long and hard about your personal story regarding love and what you might look for. Because, again, research suggests that we do have patterns that tend to draw us to certain partners. So.
Right.
Yeah.
That perennial question of why. Why am I always attracted to the virgin
Right.
bird?
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing.
There's, there's some element there of protection, of
Sure.
of fixing, of helping.
Mhm.
That,
With the feeling to be needed by
Yeah.
somebody else.
Right.
exactly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That
Definitely.
meets those emotional needs that you have.
Mhm.
Sure, the broken wing thing. It's interesting. I know that growing up, I was always sort of attracted to back then I was mostly attracted to women. I was attracted to men. I've kind of, I'm bisexual, but I kind of drift a little bit either way. But back in those days, when I was very young, I was mostly attracted to women. But I noticed that I always was attracted to. I was always looking for a flaw. Perfect women. I had no interest in perfect, what appeared to be perfect women. But if there was a little flaw, it was like, oh, that's,
Interesting.
And what I found,
I can make her better.
well, it wasn't so much that. I think it made them more accessible or something. But the interesting thing was that what I found was that everybody else was attracted to the same women that I was.
I think the reason for that is because I could understand with you, both women and men, because it's sort of like, okay, if the person's perfect, you don't think that you're perfect enough for them,
Yeah.
Right.
so then it's going to be hard for you to,
Yeah.
go with the perfect person. So you look for like someone that's a little bit lower than you that you can sort of help,
Yeah.
kind of sneak your way in there. So it started from helping, then you're like, oh, I actually like the person. So I don't think it's like, as you said, I think it's just a recurring thing. Like you said, okay, I'm never going to talk to this person again. But then when you find someone that's stable, good job, you're like, oh no, they're out of my league.
Right,
So you go
right.
from someone that's down there that doesn't have a car, and you're like, oh, you could use my car, even though that's, I think that's how it goes.
Interesting, and so the one that's absolutely perfect and flawless is the one with no dates.
Yeah.
which is interesting. But I also the question about being attracted to Kate was talking about being attracted to people like your father, and
Sure.
it's an interesting thing.
Mother or father, yeah.
I tend to have always tended to be attracted to bad boys. I know that that's a mistake, but I also found that I am somewhat attracted to people that are like my father. My father was a career military kind of guy, and I was always attracted to military guys. I don't know.
Did uniform have anything to do with that?
Yes. Yes, guys in uniform, just something about guys in uniform. But it's interesting. The patterns are interesting, they really are.
Yeah.
The things we do are very, very interesting. So I don't claim to understand.
Freud and Jung would have a field day.
I'm sure. Right. What about you?
What about me?
What are your attractions? I'm sorry.
I've said before that I find myself attracted. Actually, what you all mentioned before with proportions is something that I had seen something on TV. Maybe it was the same show, Science of Sex or something.
Yeah,
and they covered that, and I went, wow, that's so true.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
you just start noticing facial features and body structures and stuff. And,
Yes.
And yeah, but there's
the hip-waist ratio and stuff.
Yeah.
Dr. Osterhout, who you guys probably won't know about, but he's somebody.
Dr. O.
Dr. O is big in our in.
He played a big role in perfecting the reconstructive
he
surgery.
does a lot of facial feminization surgery, and he does it with a pair of calipers. He
Yeah,
measures
he measures.
Oh, wow.
facial dimensions and stuff, and he's sort of famous for that, for trying to create the correct face using numbers, basically.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting. Sort of the.
Because that whole facial feminization process, they basically go in and break up the bones of the face and reset them in order. There's different structures and male and female facial structures with brow height and the curvature of the forehead and cheekbones and jaw lines and everything. And so they go in and the short version is break all the bones in your face and fix them.
Does that hurt?
Well, yeah.
There's a little bag hanging next to the bed, and they put stuff in it, and you don't feel pain.
Good stuff.
Um,
But anyway, Dr. Osterhout was always famous for that. He's out in San
Yeah.
Francisco, but he pioneered a lot of that work.
Yep.
And very interesting because he had this sort of mathematical model of what things should look like.
yeah, he took that approach with it instead of taking sort of the artist's approach where, he sort of a lot of doctors will tell you that there's a lot of sort of art and personal feeling out of surgery, cosmetic surgery. He was very analytical about it.
That's interesting.
But
Yeah.
But then the other thing is personalities. There's interesting personalities that I find attractive. People that don't quite fit the norm. I tend to find I use the phrase lemmings a lot. That lemmings aren't real interesting for me.
Okay.
But
So you're not attracted to lemmings. Yeah.
I can put him in a little cage, pet him from time to time. Not somebody I want to hang out with. No.
Okay. Well, that's cool. I'm glad. That makes me feel good.
But
Anyway, I'm sorry I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
yeah, right.
All right.
Yeah, we all believe that.
I know, I'm evil. I'm pure evil. Anyway.
The other interesting thing that I'll bring up out of the news that I saw today was at another university, another college, University of North Texas Students Government Association wants its student body to decide whether same-sex couples should be allowed to run for homecoming court.
That's definitely a yes.
Yeah, I think they
Because-
should be allowed to.
Done if you didn't allow that.
Yeah.
Petty.
That would be
that's-
fair.
That's very funny because
Do you want a guy as your homecoming queen or a girl as your homecoming king?
it doesn't matter if they vote on it and the person when they win. If I was running against them, I would want to win. Don't get me wrong, but if they
Yeah,
win,
but-
they win. Because I went to Shelton High School because I'm from Shelton, Connecticut,
Okay.
and that was the thing that came up for prom.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, because their school, we had a GSA, and their silence, it was funny, because like, their silence, we got out of class because it was all silent. Then the whole school decided to be gay for that day. So they went back to go to class. So then afterwards, it came up about prom.
Single
They're
day
like,
allies.
yes, they're like, would you like another guy to go with another guy? If I don't feel comfortable going with a girl, why are you going to force me to do something like that? Like,
Right.
are you going to make me miss out on my senior prom because I want to go with another guy?
Right.
And they voted on it. And the school was shocked. They were shocked. They were like, because they're like, do you think that another girl should go with another girl? Two girls in tux or two guys in a dress or whatever they want to go. And they did it. They voted, and all the kids says, let them do it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I actually, I'm from Texas.
Wonderful.
I went to high school, I had over like 5,000 kids, and we had
Wow.
to separate the schools. And you have so many different variety of different people. And when it comes to like us high school kids, we're gonna mess around with like a lot of people for being who they are. But you'll get those mature ones who will just accept. And those are the ones who actually have a lot of voice within those schools.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure if you let the school, like its students decide, I'm pretty sure that they would allow it. But because Texas is such one of those southern, like good old boy states,
Sure.
like their laws, their frame of mind is completely different to what the new generation is having.
Right, right. As a matter of fact, there's we have a friend down in Texas
Yes, we do.
who tunes into our show on YouTube, and
Yeah.
she's written to us quite a bit about
And called in even from
and
Texas.
called in once even, yes, and about the GLBT communities that are springing up in the cities, and that there is actually a very big voice. It's just a very big state surrounding the big voice in the cities. So the interesting part here is the Student Government Association. Earlier this year, the Student Senate had voted not to allow gay couples to compete for homecoming court. That decision led to protests that caused the Student Senate to lift its ban and allow the student body to vote on the issue. So that's the way
Did
they're
they say what the outcome was?
No, it's
Can I go down there and vote?
voting is scheduled to take place from November 16th to November 20th. at untsga.com.